Hey there, how's it going? Okay, so let's look at these directions. They want us to write an equation of a line in point-slope form. So they gave us a couple of points. And some of you may be going, what's that point-slope again form? Before we get there, let's look at the directions. They said write an equation of a line in point-slope form, which means we're going to need to know a point and a slope in order to follow these directions. Well, I have 2 points. And since they're supposed to be lying on the same line, it really doesn't matter which point I choose for the point-slope form. Are you with me? But do I have a slope? I do not. So you have to remember the slope formula. Remember, the slope formula, the variable is represented by m. The slope formula is the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. Now, some of you may be going, shouldn't y2 be written first and x2 be written first? To be honest with you, it doesn't matter. What matters is you subtract them in the same order. That's the point. Good? Okay, so I need the slope over here. So m equals, so I need to subtract the y's. So I'm just going to do 4 minus 12 over subtracting the x's, the difference of the x's. So since I chose the 4 first, I'm going to choose the 10 first. And when I complete this, I'm going to get negative 8 on top, 4 on the bottom, so I get negative 2 for my slope. Do you agree? Did you get the same? Excellent. Now, point-slope form. I'm going to be honest with you. Once you know the slope formula, point-slope form is not far away. Here's how they actually get it. They multiply both sides by the denominator of this slope formula. And I'm going to write it in parentheses. And that cancels it on this side, does it not? Which means I end up on the left with this particular product. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch the y's to the left-hand side. And as I do, watch what happens. Now this is going to be y minus y1 equals m times the parentheses x minus x1. I have a point, an x and a y, and a slope, point-slope form. Good? That's how they get it. All they did was they rearranged the slope formula and hello, point-slope formula. So if you ever forget it, remember your slope formula and multiply both sides by the denominator, and here's point-slope. Okay, back over here. Point-slope. It doesn't matter which one of these points I choose because it's supposed to lie on the same line. So I'm just going to choose the first point. So to use this formula, I need a slope and a point. So I'm going to write down the point that I'm going to use, and I'm going to plug it into the point-slope formula. And I'm just going to write it down so I don't have to keep looking over there to my right. Here we go. Y, because it doesn't have a subscript, it remains a y. The subscript tells me which y's you're working with or which x's you're working with. Minus y1, well, I'm going to use this y value, that's why I wrote the point down, m times x, no subscript, it stays in x, minus x1, which in this case is 10. That is the point-slope form. And if they want you to put it in slope-intercept form, you can finish it from here by distributing and adding the 4 to both sides. Good? Okay. But the direction said point-slope, so here we are. And if you're like, what happens if I chose the other point? Well, that's fine. Unless they tell you otherwise, you can choose whichever point you like. Understand that this equation, and if I had used this point instead, the equation that would have contained this point will be exactly the same if I put it in slope-intercept. Good? Okay, so I have some examples coming your way. Make sure you work on them before you go find my answer key video. Catch you on the flip side.